Hello, my name is Michael Ignacio, presenting with Aaron Karas, and today we will be talking about pragmatic policies. All right, first things first is immigration rights. And what are they? Well, immigration rights are the legal and human rights given to immigrants, refugees, asylum seekers, and undocumented individuals living in a country. These rights protect people from unfair treatment, discrimination, abuse, and unlawful detention or deportation. Immigration rights are based on the U.S. Constitution, federal immigration laws, international human rights agreements, and court decisions. So, basic rights immigrants have within the United States. People in the United States, regardless of immigration status, have certain constitutional rights. For example, they have the right to due process under the law, equal protection, freedom of speech and religion, protection from unreasonable searches and seizures, access to emergency medical care, attendance in public K through 12 schools, and a hiring of a lawyer. Here's a picture of immigrants. So, entrances and exits, which would be a visa in this case. So, what is a visa? A visa is an official document or stamp that allows foreign nations to enter a country, stay for a specific purpose, stay for a limited period of time. In the United States, visas are issued by the United States, and a visa does not automatically grant citizenship or permanent residency. This is highlighted because this really enforces the fact that visas only grants permission to enter or stay under certain conditions. So for our presentation, this would be most pertaining to immigration visas or the green card pathway. It is designed for people planning to live permanently in the United States. This can be obtained through family sponsorship, employment sponsorship, refugee or asylum status, and diversity visa within a lottery program. So, why are visas important in immigration? They regulate people who can enter and stay within a country, and they can help balance economic needs, national security, humanitarian protection, and they are a major part of debates and immigration reform. So, here's a picture here, and here's an example picture of a visa. Let me move my camera, sorry. All right. So, who was Emma Lazarus? Emma was an American poet born in 1849, in New York City. She came from a wealthy Jewish family and was well educated, and she wrote poetry and essays from a young age. Much of her work focused on themes of Jewish identity, persecution, and immigration, especially as Jews fled persecution in Europe. In 1883, she wrote a poem called "The New Colossus" to help raise funds for the Statue of Liberty's pedestal. The famous line was, "Get me, you're tired, you're poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free." This poem was later placed inside the Statue of Liberty and became a powerful symbol of American immigration ideals. So, how does this connect to immigration and the pragmatic policies? Well, even though she was not a policymaker, her work strongly influenced how Americans viewed practice and policy debates. Her poem helped shape the idea of the United States as a welcoming nation for immigrants. On top of this, it also reinforced the moral argument of open and humanitarian immigration policies. Over time, policymakers and advocates used her words to support more pragmatic, real-world immigration approaches, such as accepting refugees fleeing persecution, supporting immigrant integration into society, promoting immigration as a national strength rather than a burden. So here is a picture of Emma. And so this is my end. I will now pass it on to Aaron.
Okay, slide 5. History of Mexican immigration. In the 1910s, the Mexican Revolution and labor was caused by the increase in economy and demand. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was signed on February 2nd, 1848, causing the American and Mexican War to become peace. The Mexican Revolution started in 1910 to 1980. The Bracero Program was a massive guest worker agreement between the United States and Mexico that brought millions of Mexican agricultural laborers to work in the U.S. The IRCA and Reagan Amnesty was the teachers' reading program and the traffic ticket program. What does Emma Lazarus say about immigration? In Emma Lazarus's The New Colossus, she talks about celebrating the abolishment of slavery, the abstract idea of liberty. Emma Lazarus's 1883 sonnet, The New Colossus, presents the Statue of Liberty as a welcoming maternal mother of exiles rather than a symbol of ancient power, contrasting with the Greek colossals of the roads. It famously features the lines of inviting the tired, poor, and huddled masses of the world to find refuge and opportunity in America. Slide 7. Celebration for Independence. Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo commemorates the Public Puebla Battle of Puebla on May 5th, 1862. On this day, an outnumbered and poorly equipped Mexican army led by General Ignacio Zaragoza decisively defeated the invading French Imperial Army, which is one of the most powerful army forces in the world at the time. It started with early immigrants in the U.S. Civil War. The first Cinco de Mayo celebrations in 1863 didn't happen in Mexico. They happened in California, Nevada, and in Texas, amongst all the Mexican American immigrants and the Latinos. At the time, the U.S. was fighting the Civil War. Immigrants in the West sided with the Union because they had to oppose the Confederacy and slavery. When the Mexicans beat the French army, who were supposed to be under Confederacy, the Mexican immigrants used the victory as a rally crying for freedom and democracy of their American home. Number 2. A tool for cultural pride and amid discrimination. As successive waves of Mexican immigrants arriving in the U.S. in the 20th century, they faced intense segregation, language barriers, and racism. Immigrant communities used Cinco de Mayo as a way to preserve their heritage and teach the younger generations to be proud of their roots. It served as a public claim to their culture, helping immigrants feel a sense of belonging and the community in their foreign country. The Chicano movement and civil rights. During the 1960s and 1970s, the Chicano movement adopted Cinco de Mayo as a symbol of empowerment. Activists like Cesar Chavez today use the holiday to organize farm workers, or the Farm Worker Day now, to whom were recent immigrants. They drew a direct parallel between underdog Mexican soldiers who defeated the powerful French army and the underdog immigrant workers fighting for labor rights, justice, and powerful corporations. Slide 7. Economy and safety rights of immigrants. Key economic rights and safety issues. Immigrants' advocacy groups use these cultural gatherings to fight for several critical protections. Workplace safety environments enforcement, seeking stricter oversight from agencies like OSHA to protect immigrant workers who are statistically overrepresented in high-risk industries like construction, agriculture, and meatpacking. Wage theft protection, demanding accountability for employers who withhold overtime pay with below the minimum wage or misclassify workers to their legal status. Heat illness prevention, pushing for federal, states, and standards to mandate water, shade, and rest breaks for outdoor agricultural day laborers. Collective bargaining, defending the right of all workers to unionize and report hazardous and working conditions without fear of retaliation and deportation. Our works cited page. This is our works cited page. Thank you for listening and watching our video on our presentation. If you have any questions or any information that you wanted to learn about from our sources, you can email either me or Michael. Thank you for this opportunity to make up, and have a good day.